No one ever asked me if I was okay, so I learned to stay quiet. And now I'm watching my son do the same thing. Because there is a kind of silence that isn't peaceful. It's survival. It's the silence you learn when you realize that one honest sentence could cost you your family, your future, or your right to belong. I lived inside that silence for years. I am 55 years old now, married to a wonderful woman, 2 fantastic children, a son, 19 years old, and a daughter, 20. From the outside, my life looks stable, respectable, complete. But there is a part of me that I have spent my entire life protecting. I am attracted to men, not in a way I ever felt free to explore openly, not in a way I could name out loud. I learned very early that this truth came with consequences. So, I didn't erase it. I contained it. I built a life around that containment. And living that way teaches you something dangerous and useful at the same time. How to recognize fear the moment it appears in someone else. That's how I know something is happening with my son. When I was young, I was not confused. I was terrified, not because I had answers, but because I knew exactly what was not allowed. I was attracted to men. And I grew up in a world where that meant being mocked, isolated, or erased. In high school, I learned very quickly that liking other boys was not something you explored. It was something you hid. You learned it from jokes, from threats disguised as humor, from the way certain words could ruin a reputation overnight. I didn't need to be beaten to understand the message. I just needed to see what happened to the ones who didn't hide well enough. So, I made a decision long before I understood myself fully. I would survive. I learned silence. I learned to scan rooms, to read faces, to calculate consequences. And eventually, I learned what the safe life looked like. A woman, a family, respectability. And I followed that path because it kept me alive. What hurts the most when I look back is not that I hid, it's that no one ever asked. No one ever said, "Are you okay? You've been quiet lately. You don't seem like yourself." Maybe I wouldn't have told the truth. Maybe I wouldn't have had the courage. But I would have known one thing, that someone saw me, that someone cared for me, and that might have saved me years of fear. Now that I see my son, who is 19 now, I can see he has been disappearing right in front of me. Not physically, emotionally. He speaks less. He avoids eye contact. He eats fast and leaves. He stays in his room longer. Most people would say, he's just growing up. But I recognize that posture, that tension, that silence, because I wore it once. I watch him and wonder, is he carrying something alone? Is he fighting a question he doesn't know how to ask? Is he learning the same silence I was taught? I want to talk to him. I want to protect him from the years I survived. But how do you ask your child a question no one ever asked you? How do you open a door when your whole life was built behind one? I love my son, no matter what the answer is, no matter what the truth looks like, and if there is something weighing on him, something he's carrying alone, I would take that weight from him without hesitation. I recognize that weight. I have carried it before. I would carry it again if it meant he didn't have to. But tonight, I stay quiet, because love wants to protect, and fear still remembers the cost. I just don't yet know how to reach him, not as his father, but as someone he can talk to without armor.